Welcome to the Mike on Much podcast. I'm your host, Mike Bierman. I'm here with my friend and trusted producer, Max Kerman. We are also here, freshly back from Jamaica, is our pop culture aficionado, Shane Cunningham. Shane, looking very tanned.
No, I'm not. Not looking that tan.
You have a pretty nice natural tan, I'd say.
That's true. Yeah. You're naturally dark.
And
also,
I was using SPF 100, if I'm being honest.
I don't even know what that means.
It means 100% protection. Like some SPF's 30, which most people use, just so they get a little tan. I use 100.
I feel like in your younger days, you refused to use sunscreen at all.
I did, but now I'm like getting older.
Yeah.
So
I remember we've been on many vacations, and you'd be like, I don't fuck with sunscreen.
Do you use sunscreen?
Barely.
Yeah, me too.
I should. I mean, a little bit on my face. And like Danica's always like on my ass, like put your sunscreen on. But I was kind of in the Shane boat where I'm just like, but the sun's no joke, man.
Erica?
Yes, I use sunscreen.
Nice.
Yeah.
We're also here with intern Erica, who is
Hello.
working. I was going to get to you, but then
That's
we
all
got
right.
caught up on
And
Jamaica.
you're a very white person, Erica.
Yeah,
You would need it.
I'm pretty pale, but I can tan.
Yeah, you
But
can rock a good tan.
Where's the tan then? It's August. Where's the tan?
Oh, this is the tan.
Oh.
I have tan lines, but I'm very fair in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we have a few topics to get to. We haven't done one in a while. I mean, I feel like our last couple episodes have been very interesting. Obviously, we had the Lost episode. We tried to recreate it. Then we got to the interview with Jesse Gaskell and Mike Sweeney. Did you ever listen to that?
Yeah, it
Max?
was great. Loved it.
They're fascinating.
Really fascinating.
Cool inside look at Conan O'Brien. And this week we have a few topics. And I just mentioned Conan, actually, and Jesse Gaskell. And I kind of want to bring this up. This isn't one of the topics, but I thought this was funny because Twitter was going a little bit insane over the last 24 hours. I don't know if you guys have seen this. Did you see Conan on the cover of Variety?
That's right. I saw that.
So what happened is Variety put Conan on the cover with a microphone, and it says, "Audio boom. Conan O'Brien is among a new wave of podcasters helping to transform this niche medium into a viable business."
Are we mentioned in this piece?
I haven't read it.
Okay.
But what
We
was,
probably are, though.
Yeah. But what's so funny about this is so many people with podcasts who have had podcasts for a half decade or more, your Marins of the world, your Rogans, whatever. It's like Conan starts a podcast like 6 months ago, and now he's on the cover of Variety as the face of like podcasts. So many salty takes have jumped into like the Twitter sphere where it's like, oh, because we haven't been doing this and making a business of this for, it's like Serial came out almost like
Sure, 5 years ago.
yeah, it's like, and now like they're like podcasts are here because Conan jumped in. One, I mean, whatever. The truth is, it's like, I guess for stuff to go mainstream, you do need huge names to sort of like join up and start doing something like that. Yeah. So it's not necessarily like when they say becomes a viable business, I guess that's the word. I guess people that have been doing it as a full-time gig, like a Mark Maron, find that sort of insulting on some level.
Yeah, but also if you want the clickbait, if you're Variety and you want to sell some ad space, you're not going to put some niche comedian on it who is making a living from his podcast, but you're not going to put them on the cover of
Like
the
they got to
magazine.
sell digital magazines.
Yeah. I just have sympathy for Variety. It's like, hey, Joe Blow, who makes $40,000 a year, good for you, amazing. Like the fact that you can do that just by talking into a microphone, good for you. But you don't deserve the cover of that magazine.
Well, and it is a pretty big sign of the times. I mean, if Brad Pitt started a podcast, it'd be like, holy shit, this is obviously a revolution.
That's an interesting comparison. It's like when movie stars would go to TV.
Yeah.
It makes it's honestly like this thing where everyone's like, oh, Meryl Streep's going to be on a TV show, like she's going to be on Big Little Lies. It's like the sort
it
of like
speaks to the medium.
It speaks to the medium. Yeah. TV's become so good, or like this sort of like great creative space, that the biggest movie stars in the world will do it. This is maybe analogous to that in the sense that, to Shane's point, when somebody with a TV show like Conan, where like TV show used to be the medium, that's what you wanted. He's now podcasting. Maybe it speaks to sort of the growth of this industry.
And it's like, just because you've been podcasting for 15 years or whatever, and Conan just hopped in, doesn't mean you're better than Conan.
And by the way, Conan is better than you. I listen to his podcast, and the dude
has a better podcast.
Has
than
a better
podcast
than probably 99% of people who have been doing it for 10 years. So
good
fuck you, everybody.
A good analogy would be like, I've been playing basketball 20 years, and then this LeBron James guy comes up, and he's 18, and he's on the cover of Sports Illustrated. It's like, I started playing like 20
it's like,
years
I haven't
ago.
been playing since 1987. Fuck this guy.
So just because you have a podcast, you've been doing it a while, doesn't mean you're good or better than Conan, who's amazing.
I think it's the people that have huge followings that have been doing it. It's not like basement dude like that's like got whatever it's literally people like Joe Rogan who have become like a Mark Maron who's literally the sort of podfather in a lot of ways, or Bill Simmons has had a viable career as a podcaster.
Yeah, Joe Rogan would have a good argument.
So, I'm trying to think of what sort of the negative analogy would be, because I get what you guys are saying, like talent always wins. So it's like obviously the best player is going to get recognized the most. I think it's the idea that it's like Conan is now shone a light on this niche thing, whereas these guys are saying it's not niche.
By the way, though, Joe Rogan has had profiles in the Atlantic, in Slate magazine. Bill Simmons had and then 5 years ago, Bill Simmons was featured in the New York Times about this very thing, about his podcast being
because they've been doing it. Though.
Yeah, because they've been doing that. But I'm just saying that those other comedians have had their shine at some point or another.
But that's not the issue. The issue is that Conan literally just started doing this, and then they're acting like they're saying like Conan has now made this a viable business. Thank you, Conan, for saving this niche industry.
But I think since he already had a platform, which was the late night talk show, I think he's showing how powerful podcast is because he likes this better.
That's the angle. I completely agree. I think that like to show how sort of powerful the format is, you have like a Conan O'Brien who literally has a platform on television every night, which used to be king, is now podcasting, which is I mean, again, like I sort of like I find the whole thing entertaining, like people getting salty. It's like it is the way that it is. A famous person will always make something more interesting to the masses, and Conan is a more famous entertainer than a lot of people that have podcasts.
Yeah, my attitude is that it's like the fact that like the theme of a podcast is on the cover of Variety is just, I think, good for business. It's like for everybody. I mean, it's like all, the rising tide lifts all boats kind of thing.
Totally.
So, yeah.
I agree.
So the salty takes are just people got to chill out.
But so who is the loud voice here? Who wants to be?
So if you go through like this was like trending on Twitter, which is how I saw it. So like all these like checkmarked like accounts, people with podcasts and stuff like that, they're all jumping in and sort of like with their hot takes like about.
So they
this
think
cover.
they should be on the cover. These unknown people.
Nope. I think that they think that it's hilarious that like I think it's more like this is how out of touch this mainstream magazine is.
Yeah.
Like for Variety to think that Conan has made this a viable industry shows that they haven't been paying attention to the money that's been generated for the last half decade.
Yeah, it would be like the kind of equivalent of, let's say, like, this is a bad example, but like Rolling Stone putting like Drake on the cover and going like, rap is here to stay.
Exactly.
And then all the rappers being like, what? Like,
Exactly.
we sell at arenas and rap is actually the most
That's a
popular
good
genre.
analogy, Max.
Okay, thanks.
So that's kind of the thing where it's like, wait, so like Drake's on the cover and it's like he's made rap viable now?
Yeah,
like
he's made it mainstream.
rap's here to stay?
Yeah.
That's what I think the issue is.
What are your thoughts? I've been thinking about Twitter because I'm on Twitter probably a little too often, and the hierarchy of blue check marks versus not blue check marks. And I'm sick. And as someone who has a blue check mark, like the entitlement that comes with it is so fucking annoying.
I'm going to get into this at the end with my Jamaica action. But
oh, really?
Yeah.
Action.
Okay, it's related.
But I will say I love the blue check mark.
You love the blue check mark.
Love it.
Yeah, I was listening to Ryan Russillo's podcast the other day, and he was talking about how he had a bad experience on a flight, and they said, and then whenever any fucking blue check mark has a bad experience, they always call out the airline and at blah blah blah, and they're so entitled about it. And I was like, yeah. That's kind of annoying. Like there is a social hierarchy that is developed with social media that are like the haves and the have-nots, and I kind of don't like it.
Well, this is a huge philosophical question.
Yeah.
So it's like in a society, we have like a way to sort of establish worth,
Yeah.
for better or worse. And like you can talk about, how it's established, but the fact is it does exist. And so it's like we talk about this with awards. Shane and I, we work for a company like there's these ad awards called Pro Maxes, and I think I've always historically thought Pro Maxes are like I don't like the idea of awards because I think awards are weird, especially for things like creative and subjective things. Because who are the people choosing? Who are the judges? Who's judging the judge? All this stuff. It's always an inherently weird system. But that being said, when I've won Pro Maxes, it feels good all of a sudden. So it's like that thing where it's like I hate this system. It's ridiculous. But then you win one, you're like, oh, it's good. But then ultimately you go, what is this structure? And some people would argue, well, you need those Pro Maxes because they go on a resume and it makes you stand out from somebody else. Mm-hmm. And it's like these are differentiating factors. So what we do is we build a hierarchy. So it's like it's almost like you have a problem with like society as a whole if you have a problem with blue check marks getting preferential treatment.
I do kind of actually.
That's what I mean.
But it's like anything. You can use your blue check mark for good or evil. It's like if you're a very powerful person like Harry, who's trying to use his notoriety
this is a subject we're going to get
help
into.
the environment.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
Meghan and Harry have been jetting around on private jets.
We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
But they're trying to use their
platform,
metaphorical blue check mark to help the Earth, and Leonardo DiCaprio, etc.
Yeah.
Or you can just be like maybe like a Paris Hilton type and just party or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
but
a
it's
dated
more like
reference.
why do we have a blue check mark society?
To prove that you're a legit person, and it's a very important thing for celebrities so you're not impersonated.
But what's a legit person? What does that mean?
Yeah, no, I think
just that you're popular.
No. I think originally the intention was to prove that you are like,
who you
actually
are.
Tom
Verification.
Cruise. Verification.
But
for a
I'm
famous
saying in
person.
society, like I don't even talk about famous. Like I'm saying like a legit person. There's people that eat in fancy restaurants. There's people that get preferential treatment. What makes someone a legit person?
Well, if
because someone who's prone to being impersonated.
yeah, if you're susceptible
No,
to,
I mean more philosophically. Like why are people important? Not just on Twitter, because Twitter's just a microcosm.
well,
of it.
because if you have a lot of influence,
right.
and it's kind of like if a person has influence or they don't.
Yeah, it is a
it's
useful
very hard
tool
to
in that
pinpoint.
sense, because if you think you're following a certain celebrity and it turns out it's not him, but he's gamed a bunch of people into giving a bunch
Right.
of... Yeah.
I'm trying to go bigger than Twitter, though.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
saying like rich people that get like they get into restaurants.
Sure.
They get
It
preferential
depends. Is it
treatment.
important to get into a restaurant if we're going that philosophical? Like, who gives a shit?
Well, to some people,
Like for
yeah.
the restaurant, yes, it's important for their business because they need people of a certain status to be able to afford the food. People who don't care about restaurants, like myself, it's not important.
Okay, so like all the societal things that can be unlocked by money and fame, let's talk about, right? Like jumping ahead in lines, getting things you want, getting tickets to things, blah, 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 blah. To me, a blue check mark on Twitter is just like a digital version of that. It's like, or it's sort of a representation of your status in society.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is it's like, if people have a problem with blue check mark people, well, they should have a problem with the way that we operate as a society. Meaning
Sure.
there's a certain small amount of people that always get to the front of a line. That's just the way it works.
We're sitting with one right here.
Exactly. Well, that's why it's funny to me that it's like the blue checkmark thing is like these people are going to complain. It's like you're living a blue checkmark life.
Of course.
So
and
it's
you
like
get all the spoils, Max.
so what? So philosophically, we need to be okay with the fact that like some people are more important than others, and that's what Twitter is showing and proving.
More important for certain things. I think in a grand scheme, it's like we're all equal. But if it's who's more important to be courtside at a Raptors game, Max.
Yep. I just don't like the entitlement that comes with it. Like you're totally right that like I get free shit all the time. I get front of the line access all the time, but I never feel entitled to it. If someone says, Max, you don't get front of the line, I'm like, okay, I'll go to the back of the line. Like, and there is an entitlement factor to people with the blue check marks that go, because I have a blue check mark, I'm going to shame this or that and hope I get something for it, or I'll feel really good about it. And I don't like that. And to Shane's point about you can use the blue check mark for good or for bad, I think a lot of people with blue check marks just like to wave around their power. In the same way that a lot of rich people just like to wave around their power and get their shit for whatever suits them best. And I don't like that.
Do you think it'd be okay for people without a blue check mark to like shame these airlines and stuff like that?
They do all the
care.
time.
They
But
don't
do you
care,
think that's
though.
okay? Like, is that like different than if someone with a blue check mark?
I
does
just
it?
don't think people will care.
Why people get annoyed though is because people get fucked over every day. But if you're not important or have a blue check mark, nobody's going to do anything about it.
Yeah.
So like, and
And I don't think that's fair. I think everybody should be treated equally shitty.
Well, and that's the thing is like, and
Or
if
equally good, I should
blue
say.
checkmark people might say, "Hey, listen, like I've worked hard to accumulate a certain amount of power, and I'm going to like say like this airline shouldn't get away with being shitty or whatever."
Yeah,
Again,
if they're doing a Robin Hood thing, then fair enough. Good for them.
It also depends on the issue. Some
Yeah,
things
sure.
are very frivolous that you shouldn't bring up, and
Yep.
some things are important that you're kind of fighting for the people.
Yeah.
Speaking on behalf.
And I don't think any one human is necessarily more important than another, but I recognize that in our society we have a construct in which we absolutely have more important people than other, and it's usually based on money. Can you generate a certain amount of revenue? Well, you're more valuable than somebody else. That's all I'm saying. And I think that the checkmark system is kind of like it's just sort of like a mirror of that on Twitter.
Speaking of fighting for the people, I was on the Go bus yesterday, 2 days ago.
Ooh.
Yep, going from Toronto to Hamilton. Common man, right? And I was.
Is that
on-
Max? I think he has a check mark. He's on this bus.
Would you like to drive this bus, young man?
Just Twitter at Go Transit. This bus was a terrible experience today.
So I was on it was a double decker. You've been on it before.
Oh, yeah. Many times.
Many times. You're on it like every day. And it was like midday. It wasn't too busy. And there was a woman at the front of the top of the bus who was talking very, very loudly, very like passionately, kind of like yelling into the phone in a language I didn't understand. And she was like, she's pretty worked up. Couldn't tell what she was saying. I figured, okay, the bus is going to leave in 3 minutes from the station. I'm not going to say anything, but if she keeps going for like another 5 minutes, I'm going to politely, with my warmest smile, just say, hey, there's people back here. Because everybody around me was going, well, this woman, shut up. Like, it was really antisocial behavior. So the bus takes off. She's still going. I kind of peer over. She's on FaceTime yelling at maybe her son on the phone.
In joy or anger?
I couldn't tell because it was a language.
Sometimes it's hard, yeah.
I couldn't tell. And so we're literally in like Oakville at this point. So she's been on the phone this whole time yelling like, ah! Like that.
Oh my God.
And I was just like, and so I go, you know what? I'm going to take one for the team here because I can tell everybody around me is very annoyed at this woman. And I walk up to her and I kind of lean over. I go, excuse me. She does not even hear me. I'm literally hovering over her shoulder.
She wearing headphones?
No. She's just talking to the phone. And she's like just still yelling into the phone. And then I didn't have the nerve to tap her. I didn't want to touch her. Yeah. So I just go, so I'm like, excuse me. She does not even look at me. So I just turn around, and I shrug my shoulders, and I go back to my seat.
Oh, man.
and then this other young guy goes, I'm going to give it a shot. So he didn't say that to me, but I see him walking up and walking over. And then he decides to give her a little tap on the shoulder. And he goes, and he's also trying to be nice about it. He's like, excuse me, could you maybe keep your voice down? And then she just looks up and she's like, my mom, she just died.
Oh, man.
And then he goes, oh, I'm very sorry to hear that. And then just walks back. And it was like, obviously it's not funny at all if her mother just passed away. But whenever anybody's acting in that way, there's a part of you that goes, okay, is there something really serious going on, or is this person just an asshole?
Right.
And when you go up to tap them on the shoulder, you're like, I really hope she's just being an asshole so you can get her just to do what you want. But of course, that guy really got the shit end of the stick for that piece of information.
Yeah, man.
Oh man.
So it's a good life hack to kind of get you out of any situation.
Just say that someone passed away.
Yeah.
It's like a curb
You were being a
enthusiasm.
real dick at that party. My mama, she just died.
It's like, why is he talking in an Italian
This
accent?
isn't like you at all, actually. Good morning. Yeah, man, that's crazy. What would you have? So obviously you backed off before really pushing it. If she had said that to you, would you have like given your condolences, or would you
I
have
would have been like, I'm very sorry, carry on. That's basically what I would have
slinked
done.
away?
And also, this is also related to this conversation we're having. I'm getting catfished right now, I think, or I'm being the product of a catfish. I don't know what that term means.
Is someone using your image?
Yeah.
It's happened to me, man.
Yeah. So basically, someone on Facebook, Nick found this, is calling himself Max Osborne, and is posting with a picture of me and Ashley.
Wow.
Ashley is Mary Jean Osborne, I guess, is the Ashley character in this situation. There's a really nice picture of Ashley and I like backstage somewhere. I have my arm around her. This is Manager Ash we're talking about. And it says, technically we're here to celebrate my birthday out with friends because it's been delayed for a few days already. Been very busy with all the set list, sound checks, and brainstorming. But for you, Max, I'm happy and willing to give away for a beautiful celebration of love, happiness, and trust. Congratulations to you and Michelle. I wish all the best. Like, I don't know what these people are.
What is going on?
Yeah, but there we are. So Manager Ash is on the case. And if you catfish us, we'll get you. So that's a warning.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah. First time for me, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, do you feel violated?
No, I kind of found it funny. I was like, oh, cool. This is like, I'm a real celebrity now. But then Ash was not happy with it at all.
What are your thoughts on, like, there's probably someone somewhere in, like, a college town posing as you, like, on social media and, like, DMing girls. What are your thoughts if that's going on? You're just like, hey, like, it's just not me. It's not going to be me. Do you have, like, an inherent, like, does it make you queasy, or do you just not think it's happening? Do you not think about it?
No, well, I mean, there's been situations where people pretended to be me at like weddings and stuff like that. Did we talk about this? No. Like a friend of Greg's, I think maybe it wasn't pretending to be me, but people went up to him at the wedding thinking it was me, going, "Are you Max from Markel's?" And he was like, "Yep."
That's hilarious.
So he wasn't parading around like me, but he didn't, deny it. And it was somebody who actually knew Ian Court. So like it was a very Hamilton related thing, and the guy ended up being a colleague of your brother Greg's. So Ian was like, "Hey, just so you know, there's my friend thinks she's going on a date with you like next week."
Wow.
and then he's like, I was like, "Who's the guy?" And he found a picture of the guy, and then I showed it to Greg. Greg's like, "I know that guy. I work with that guy."
That's
Did
hilarious.
he look like you?
A little bit. I don't know.
Right. But I imagine when that guy goes on a date, he's going to come clean.
Yeah,
it's
I
going
like
to
to
become a
think-
funny anecdote.
Yeah, I like to think this is all funny anecdotes. I guess I'd only be annoyed if it became like a creepy thing.
Yes.
But
Exactly.
in my mind, it's all like kind of in good fun. Like like the truth will be revealed pretty quickly.
It will always
Yeah.
exactly.
So that
In
doesn't bother
person,
me.
it's different than I find online if you're doing it.
Sure.
It's more dubious.
Yeah, the online stuff's probably a little weirder. Which is why the Facebook thing's a little weirder.
Yeah.
Max Osborne, which is actually kind of a cooler name than Max.
Why not
Kerman.
use your real last name? That's curious.
It almost makes it seem more like it's a stage name and that this is the real Max because he's using
True.
his real
Smart.
last name or something.
Or maybe it's a fake name. Like everyone knows Max Kerman's my real name, but for Facebook, I've changed my name.
That's what he's saying,
Oh, yeah.
I
thought it was
no,
the
you flipped
inverse.
it. I
Yeah.
did the inverse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. What teachers do is exactly that because
Yeah.
they can't have their students finding them.
Yeah, that's right.
Man,
Smart person.
crazy.
Yeah.
They should be giving teachers check marks. That's what I'm saying, guys.
Yeah, there you go.
The real people that are doing the work in this.
It's
society. But yeah, that's fascinating.
Yeah. I'll let you guys know how that goes.
Let me know how
We'll
they
send
goes,
them a
man.
cease and desist letter.
People got to be careful on the internet. There's a lot of phonies out there. A lot of people looking to take advantage of people. Should we get to these topics?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first topic is, well, let's do Harry and Meghan. As
Yeah.
Shane mentioned, they're using their status or their blue check mark for good causes, charitable things, have been sort of called hypocrites for taking private jets because we know that they're very taxing on the environment for their usage and their sort of the gas, all that stuff. There's so many things we get into, like I think like emissions and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Private flight is not good for the environment.
It's 2% of the worldwide emissions.
Yeah,
so
global
that's
emissions.
quite a bit.
Not private flights, just flights in general.
Yeah, plane.
Yeah, planes.
So I guess so. If you're going to fly, it's probably better to be in a plane with 100 people than just 2 people. It's like a waste of.
Yeah, Al Gore got in trouble for this too
Yeah.
because he had that very influential documentary and he was jetting around in this
the
private plane.
inconvenient truth.
Yeah.
And this weekend, I think it came to light because they were in Ibiza, flew home, and then flew to Nice. So it was like 2 short trips, and people were pissed off about it.
So what's the angle here? Is it the gotcha nature?
Well,
of
I was
like-
talking to Lauren about this last night, and I was like, like, what do we make of famous people or rich people doing this? And she had a good point. She was like, look, the whole point of their job is to like is literally to travel and shed light on important matters, important global matters that are happening around the world. And the idea of them going to the fucking airport and she's like, and flying fucking Delta
Yeah.
is like ridiculous. And especially, it's like, it would be the equivalent of saying, hey, Barack Obama, why aren't you flying commercial? Like it would just cause too much of a commotion. Like practically speaking, logistically speaking, it would be a nightmare. And also, and Lauren pointed out, like the way that the UK press has treated the royals over the years has not been favorable whatsoever. And if they want to fly privately, they have every right to. I said, okay, that's totally fair. I think in situations like the Barack Obamas of the world, the royal family, totally fine. But then I was like, but what do we think about the like just rich people like the Paris Hiltons, as you say, flying privately? And I was like, yeah, see, that's a problem. Like, because if airplane travel is as bad as everyone says it is, and these people are just fucking around and taking private planes to Jamaica or whatever. You didn't take private to Jamaica, did you?
I did actually, yeah.
Blue check mark,
I'll
baby.
get to that at the end.
Then I was like, maybe we should shame those people. Maybe we should like be printing out lists of like what international playboys are spending the most money in
Shaming
the air.
only works if people give a shit.
I know. And then Lauren said, that's a stupid idea, too. Yeah, Lauren just said, shaming does not work. And also, if we want to talk about global emissions, like air travel is 2%, but I think people's diets actually and the amount of meat we eat is actually way worse for global emissions. I don't have a statistic on that.
Yeah, it's
but
all the cow farts and stuff. Yeah.
It's an epidemic.
It is. It honestly is.
Mike farts are also an epidemic in my home, as we discussed in the last episode.
And so she's like, if people want to like cause a fuss about anything, like air travel is actually not where you begin.
Well, Lauren just stole my speech, so thanks a lot.
Oh,
that was
sorry.
my whole like
He
thought
came
process.
in here with an angle,
Yeah.
and you just totally
Yeah.
you stepped on it.
Sorry.
All right.
What's
the next topic?
Any additional thoughts?
Thanks, Lauren.
Well, you know what? It's like, I don't know, man. It's like, it is very, Shane and I talk about this quite a bit. Like the idea of like, sort of what philosophically should be the way we do things, and then what the reality of the situation is. You can't deny the truth or reality. And the reality is, it's like, this is a service available to these wealthy people who live a different lifestyle than the common person. We're constantly always like comparing like these people that sort of live like, they might as well be aliens, to be honestly, the way they live compared to the way that other people live. So it's like, we almost have to like tear down the whole infrastructure if you have an issue with it. Otherwise, it's like, it's just the way that it is. Like, they're going to travel that way. And like to Shane and Lauren's point, it's like, part of their job is to go and sort of like be in these places, and that's the most efficient way probably for them to actually do that, which is probably a greater good than the environmental, the tax that it has on the environment. I don't know, but it's just like, it's almost like people have an issue with like the way that our social structure is and economic structure. It's like there's going to be wealthy people, there's going to be rich people, and they're going to actually do things differently. And there's going to be a whole bunch of other people, and they're going to live a certain way. And it's like you can't deny that reality.
Yeah, and I said, I was like, well, we should be holding rich people really accountable to the way they spend their money, so they give away more of their money to people who need it. And then Lauren said, well, to most people, you're the fucking rich guy, so fuck you. And
That's true.
I was like, that's also true. So.
And philosophically,
I made that point on like 5 pods ago. I did. I honestly did.
Have you and Lauren been going for coffee?
sharing all their ideas. But anyway, yeah.
The you know how I like structure and how I like things sort of being presented and laid out in a way that we can all follow.
That's what you're known for.
That's what I'm known for. Is I wish there was just like a pie chart that was just put out at the beginning of every year going, all right, here's where people ought to be paying their, like, giving their attention to if we want to talk about like social change. And I know the issue with this pie chart is that I don't think anybody could ever agree on what the numbers ought to be in this pie chart.
Yeah.
But I just wish somebody would be like, all right, everybody, 62% climate change, 2% whatever, like 5%, racial inequality. And that's a bad number to say, but whatever it is.
What are we all doing here?
What are we all doing here? And then we can appropriately campaign, whether it's on Twitter or outrage culture or anything, to that degree. So everyone's like, just whenever you wake up every morning and you're pissed off about something, just look at the pie chart, and that's probably where you should be allotting your time.
Well, and instead of changing the people, change the product. So straws are getting banned everywhere now, but these waxy paper or metal straws are everywhere now.
Paper and metal straws are sort of the future.
Yeah. So Tesla comes out with cars that are very efficient on gas. Do that with planes.
Yeah.
So, and then you don't have to worry about like monitoring what people are doing because everything's clean.
What about the straw thing? Is interesting.
Yeah. It's a wedge issue.
Yeah.
So the like you sent us an article about Trump is selling. Like,
no, you sent that.
Or did you send that, Erica?
No, I just
Ash,
Ash.
manager Ash. So basically, Trump I think is doubling down on plastic straws.
Wait, that was a joke. That wasn't real.
That's real.
That's real, man.
Oh, really? I thought that was a joke too. Was that a?
That
pretty
can't,
sure-
that can't
Is
be
it a
real.
satire?
I'm pretty sure that's
Oh
not.
my God.
Okay, explain it and I'll look it up to see if it's
So
real.
please look up if it's real.
And you have to read what they say.
Well,
about
the major
straw.
issue is this. So like straws are made from plastic. There's this huge movement to minimize our plastic use because it's not truly recyclable in the way that like other things are recyclable, the way that like even aluminum can be recyclable. So people are trying to move plastic out of society. Obviously, the first target on that hit list is going to be straws. They're somewhat superfluous. You can drink out of a cup just fine. And now we can make paper straws. But they do get really like soggy. I hate paper straws. But I can
pretty
live
sure
without
it's
straws.
real.
Read the line and let the people decide if they think this is real.
Liberal paper straws don't work. Stand with President Trump and buy your pack of recyclable straws today. And there's it's BPA free, reusable and recyclable, 9-inch long.
Plastic straws.
Pack of 10 identical straws, and it says Trump on it. There's a little black girl using it.
So the reason that this is a wedge issue is because it's kind of like, first of all, you mentioned the environment should be 60%. It's like there's a large vocal sort of like segment of the population that think that environmental change is a hoax.
Yeah.
They don't even believe it. So it's like we can't even agree on that, first of
Yeah.
all. So recycling something like plastic, it makes people very angry that they're told they can't have their straws anymore. That it's like what you're doing is actually harmful for the environment, so you can't have your fucking bendy straws at your kid's birthday party. They're like, it's happening again. These fucking people, the government is coming in and they're taking my shit away and they're making me feel bad about something I've been doing since I was a kid. And they're like these fucking liberals. And so the straws have become this wedge issue where it's like another example of us changing the way it was in the good old days. So a way for like Trump to make America great again or keep America great is literally by saying, I'm doubling down on these plastic straws. These environmental wackos on the left, you don't want to have their soggy paper straws. And the paper straws do suck.
And this is a real website. This is totally Donald Trump's website. Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, everything Trump does is high comedy. It's like,
trying to buy Greenland.
yeah, the Greenland thing is hilarious. I mean, his Instagram page, it's a doctored photo of the Trump Hotel in the middle of like a shanty town in Greenland.
Did you he canceled his like meeting with
with Denmark?
Denmark because
They won't sell him the island.
she made comments or whatever about not being interested in having a negotiation about selling him Greenland. And he's like, I've decided to postpone my thing until like we're ready to negotiate in good faith. It's like, what? What? I'm like, this is like, he's actually the greatest distraction artist of all time. He knows how to fucking own a news cycle. It's like, shit, this thing with Israel's kind of getting a little bit heated. Let's try to fucking buy Greenland, and then everybody will report about it. It's like the people are getting antsy, or it looks like the economy is going to crash. Fuck it, let's take on the straws. Let's give the people their plastic straws back. You know what I mean? Because everything is this wedge issue, or an example of left trying to take something away from the right and say your way of life is wrong, and that's
Here's
visceral.
Is there anything he could possibly do that would make him go, I resign? Like, is there like literally anything that he would go, I've done something bad, I need to resign? I don't know if there is one.
Yeah, probably pedophilia or murder.
But he would say it was fake. The evidence was fake.
Yeah, I don't think he'd ever own up to it, or if he did own up to it, he'd go, the Clintons have been doing it. Whatever.
Right.
I want to buy Greenland. Fuck you, and he'd move on to the next thing. Like, I honestly think because he lacks shame, and he just loves, and he thinks everything is entertainment. I just don't think there's one thing, which is an incredible feat for
there's no such thing as evidence in his world. So like, even if he was like, if there was a tape of him doing some sort of act with an underage person, he would say the tape was fake, and he would die on that cross, and enough people would believe him, and he'd go to blah blah blah. So it's just like, I don't know. Like I thought about this before. I was like, what if a tape came out of him sort of like bad mouthing his followers? What if like, because the thing is, he is an elitist. He is like a very rich person that wants to stay rich, and he wants the system to stay the same it is. But a lot of the people that vote for him kind of vote against their own self-interest, like they're like, he's a man of the people, he speaks my way. It's like he lives in a fucking gold palace in like the penthouse in New York, and the Trump, like he lives in what looks like a sheik's fucking like lofty apartment.
And the joke is that when he goes to these middle of nowhere towns and has these big rallies, he goes on stage, he gives a speech, but he doesn't like to talk to any of them. He's like in and out. I think like famously, he doesn't glad hand. He's like, because he does not want to actually interact with any of those kinds of people.
Yeah. And like, that's the thing. It's like, I empathize a lot with the people that are feeling like very marginalized, or like they can't get a shot in the society, and that, industry has left them behind, and they're all losing their jobs and all that stuff. But it's like, I just don't get why Trump's the guy. And it has to be the anger. Yeah. But anyway.
You've heard our song People's Champ, right?
I've heard the song People's Champ, yeah.
I think I articulated there.
So if he, I don't know. So anyway, months ago, I was like, well, maybe if a tape came out of him, like, sort of like revealing the elitist that he is, and sort of has disdain for his base or whatever, like that came out, like some sort of, or Apprentice tapes. I'm like, I don't think it would do it. I think he'd either say they're fake, or he would find a way to like justify what he said.
Right.
Speaking of that, actually, I posted something on Instagram. I forget what it was, but it was maybe Trump related. And somebody said, hey, keep in mind, I wish I could find the thing, but he said, hey, keep in mind that some of your fans are Trump fans and have been to 8 of your shows, including Keita Ball's the last one. So clearly the guy messaging me was not.
So this is like a Trump
So it's like
supporter.
watch your opinions, buddy, or I'll stop going to Keita Balla?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because I posted, this is why. I posted that hilarious video
of Julian
giving the suck it sign to the Trump hotel, and which I thought was so fucking funny. And some guy goes, hey, yeah, just keep in mind that, like, this is offensive to some of your fans. And I was like, I didn't say anything back to it, but what would you guys do in my situation?
Where has he been? You're quite outspoken about that stuff.
Here it is. Remember, some of your fans who have seen you 7 times live, Balla most recently, support Trump. Just saying, since everyone is about inclusion these days.
I think this person's talking about themselves, because the 7 is pretty specific.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's definitely talking about himself.
Well, okay. So, like, you need to make a choice as, like, an entertainer or, like, a business. Yeah. And, like, there's famously, like, Kurt Cobain, back in the days, like, if you're a homophobe or you're this, it's like, don't come to our shows. Don't buy our records. We don't want your fucking money anyway. Yeah. You've seen a version of this. Shea Serrano, who's a writer for The Ringer. He's like whatever he is, an editor. He came out with a book, and basically he's very anti-Trump on social media, and he'll get the same things where it's like, hey, dude, like, a lot of sports fans support Trump, and it's like, you're losing sales. Yeah. And he'll basically say, I don't want your fucking money anyway. Yeah. This is his position, by the way. I think it's almost like you'd have to make a choice and pick a position where it's like, do you want to be inclusive and bring those people in from the right? Or do you want to say, if you share some of the views that I think Trump stands for, or whatever your position is, we don't want you here?
Yeah, I think whether or not I had a business to consider, I wouldn't, it's not really my style to be like, fuck you, I don't give a shit about you. Because that's not what I'm actually kind of interested in the conversation with somebody who might come from a different perspective. But the context here is kind of funny because clearly we have a song called People's Champ. Clearly we've been like ranting and raving about
But maybe
those
people listening to that song think Trump's the people's champ.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
What if that song became like an anthem for the right?
Well, this has happened to Bruce
Trump walked
Springsteen.
out
You
to
know,
it on his next rally.
Ronald Reagan would come out to the Born in the USA, and Bruce Springsteen was like, "You're missing the point of this song altogether." And please,
That's what I'm saying. So, what if that were to happen? How would you feel about it? How would you react if a ton of red hats were in the crowd at the next Arkell show?
That'd be very interesting. That'd be. Yeah.
Plastic straws for everybody.
We start selling them as
Max's
merch.
face
They're
is
at
on
the
all
merch thing.
It's like, it's good for business. Let's do it, boys.
What would you do?
I don't know.
What if the Trump campaign offered you, the Arkells, $5 million to use People's Champ in their campaign video for 2020?
We cannot do that.
But it's not publicized at all. It's very covert. It just gets transferred.
Everyone
to
signing
your
NDAs?
Yes, everyone.
Everyone. No, I don't think we could do that. Yeah, I mean, I think that, I try not to be too partisan when it comes to my politics. It's really just about what is the best way we can kind of collectively move forward together. So with the values of inclusion and respect and equality, all those things that I think probably people on the Democratic side would represent better than Donald Trump. So if I were to have a conversation with this guy, I'd be like, look, I'm all about inclusion, but statistically speaking, factually speaking, you can vote for whoever you want, but this guy does not represent those ideals. Mm-hmm. And that's just sort of the fact of the matter.
And if you're a Trump supporter, his main thing is roasts, put down comedy. All Julian was doing was saying, suck it. A Trump supporter would love that.
Well, yeah, it was fucking hilarious. So, yeah.
So, next subject, or do we have anything more on Harry and Meghan? Oh, so we're cool with people flying private?
Well, if it's like the blue checkmark thing, if they're doing it for a good cause, if they're jet setting around to give speeches on why the environment's important, I think that's fine.
What if it's just to be more efficient in business, like NBA teams?
Well,
that's okay
I
because they're
think
filling
that's
the
fine.
plane.
Yeah,
I think it's a security thing too, probably, right? That's probably the
Exactly,
safest
yeah.
way for royalty
Exactly.
to travel.
I've not read this article, but I heard about it on a podcast. David Plotz on the Slate Political Gabfest was talking about a piece written by one of the heirs to the Walmart fortune, one of the Waltons.
Yeah.
And she's come out against private jets. She said what it does to your mind of flying private makes you that much more removed from society and to a way where there's something about going to the airport and having to stand in line in security and waiting in line and having your flights delayed that actually makes you feel connected to other people in a very democratizing kind of way. Is that the word? And she said that's actually not good for your mental health, and flying private's not good for that reason. So I should read that one, and you guys should read it too.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting. All right. Well, so instead of moving on to another subject, we're just going to go to Shane's back from Jamaica. This is very exciting.
Yeah.
We haven't seen him in 5-6 days.
Yeah, I made some notes here because I want to get all the beats here properly. But I went to Jamaica, guys.
Yeah.
And it was a little bit stressful. I'll just explain why, mainly to you, because I think Mike kind of knows the deal. But my wife wanted to go on 3 vacations this summer.
Summer?
Well, yeah. Well,
I thought you were going to say this year.
Well, she's a teacher, right? So summertime's her kind of time to go on vacations. Mm-hmm. So I said, okay, we can go on one bigger vacation, like a 10-day vacation.
Yeah.
Or do you want to go to 3 different places and we'll go on 3 mini trips for 4-day trips? Mm-hmm. So she thought about it and she ultimately decided to go on 3 mini trips. Mm-hmm. I was like, cool. But in the meanwhile, money from a side project that I had done was supposed to come in. You guys might know that project, but I won't say it out loud. So that money is just not coming. And that was money I had kind of put aside, earmarked for this vacation. Then I have an income property. My renter moved out. We got a new renter. He got delayed a month. So that $1,850 I was supposed to get from that renter, that's gone. Then I got to replace a roof on the income property. That's $6,500. So I'm less about, $15,000, let's say, right now than I thought I would have. So I'm like, oh, shit, this is going to be tight. So how about this, Alex? You're an influencer. You're not quite a blue checkmark person, but you can still message a bunch of resorts, and let's see if we can get these trips for free. Because a lot of hotel rooms, they're just empty, and they're not being put to use anyway. And if you promote the hotel and they're getting business out of it, they're like, fuck it. No one's here. It's the off season. Yeah. Like, who's going to Jamaica in August? Not a lot of people.
You guys.
Exactly. So most people will go in the wintertime, right? Because who's wasting a Canadian summer? Anyway, the trip was obviously to Jamaica. She messaged 100 resorts. One agreed.
Which makes you wonder, like, what is the status of this place?
Yeah, so no, but I had been to this place before. I'll admit.
Okay.
And let me clarify here. When I say agreed, they said we'll give you a $500 voucher. And to me, like, that's not a lot of money. And I don't mean to be flippant about $500, but like when you're in your Erica's age, 500 is a lot of money, right?
Oh, that is, yes.
When you're 30 with like a baby, that's like a trip to Shoppers Drug Mart. So it's like, to me, I'm like,
Mike's like, he ain't lying.
man, wipes and diapers are not cheap.
Exactly. So I'm like, okay, like, let's see if we can find a better place than this. I'm like, this place is perfectly fine. I went there 5 years ago, but let's see if we can find a better place, whatever. Then she's like, oh, it's US dollars. So I'm like, okay, that's $665. I did the conversion. Okay, let's go to this place. So we booked the place, and they're like, we're going to get a $500 voucher. We don't get it off right away. We got to go there and get the $500 voucher.
Did that make you nervous?
No.
Okay.
Like,
she was on the level.
She was dealing with all these people through Instagram. That she dealt with their official marketing person. Now, the head office is in Spain.
Okay.
The place we're going to is in Jamaica. Yeah. So there's a little bit of confusion. But anyway, we get a hotel the night before that's close to the airport. And then I'm like, okay, so it's all, the trip's all ready, right? Like, we got the voucher. The people in Jamaica know. She goes, no, I'm just going to work that part out once we get there. I'm like, Alex, you got to do this stuff in advance. You don't understand. The Jamaican people don't give a shit. Like,
that's going to be the title of the episode.
No, I'm like, they're very like relaxed and slow moving. And if you come in there telling them like, oh no, we have a $500 voucher, it's from the Spain people. If you don't organize that, like if you email them, you'll get an email a week and a half later. Like all that stuff needs to be sussed out beforehand. It's hard to explain. You're an influencer, whatever. She's like, no. It's fine. It's fine. I'm like, Alex, I'm telling you, it's going to be a problem. And kind of have a debate because people who know me too, like I'm the type of person, like I'm very, very, very over prepared. Like I went to see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I bought the tickets online, printed the tickets out just in case, emailed my wife the tickets just in case my phone went dead or something happened to the paper, called ahead, talked to the manager, asked how busy it was going to be, and then been like, my name's Shane, and just saying I'm going to be there at the 720 show. Like, I do that for a movie.
Yeah.
So a trip, I make sure I have all the documents, everything. She's like, it's going to work out. Trust me. I'm like, okay. And she's like, and you're going to like this, Shane. I booked us a special like SUV to take us right to the hotel when we land. Because it's always a problem with those shuttles. You get there, the shuttle's gone. You're waiting 2 hours in this really hot Jamaican airport lobby. We fly, go to Jamaica. We go to talk to our SUV person. There's some mild confusion. I'm like, everything okay, Alex? She's like, oh, yes. But I can tell she's lying. I'm like, is everything really okay? She says, no, I booked the wrong day for the SUV.
Ooh.
And it is.
And you got a baby with you.
It's hot, too. And by the way, I also worked out a thing where because I feel like we need to trick the hotel people, I'm like, once we get to the hotel, Alex is going to change into this nice influencer outfit, and I'm going to play the role of her like schlubby husband manager, and we're going to change our daughter into this nice dress to make it look like we're this like very like camera ready family, and she's like the star and I'm just the photographer. So
how far is the hotel from the airport?
It's about an hour.
Oh, okay. So it's not just down the way.
Yeah, Alex is just wearing sweatpants and a t-shirt. That's like her plane attire. But we're going to change her into like a super nice outfit. That's the plan. Anyway, so since she booked the wrong SUV, we have to wait for another SUV. 2 hours go by. Just waiting.
How's Lucy doing?
It's hot.
Yeah.
You know, it's hot. She's a Canada baby, so she's not used to heat like this, really, like in no air conditioning. So SUV comes, we go hour-long trip. Then we get to Grand Bahia, Principe, which is what it's called. Walk in the lobby, no air conditioning.
What time is it?
It is
midday?
4.
4, okay.
And by the way, I've checked the weather. Today's the only good day of our trip. Every other day is thunderstorms. And I'm like, fuck, I'll party in a thunderstorm. I do not care.
I've seen it.
But for the photos, if we're going to be promoting this place, like we got to do a little review. That's part of the Contra deal. It needs to be nice out. It needs to look picturesque. So anyway, we walk into the hotel. The heat just emanating out. It's hotter inside the hotel lobby than it is outside. Huge lineup. Everyone's checking in, checking out. A man is screaming, "This place fucking sucks."
Oh my God.
He's from New York. He's like, "Fuck this place and fuck you. Hey, everybody, I'm leaving this. I'm cutting my trip short by 3/4. And guess what? It's the best $1,000 I ever spent back to New York." So I go, "Sir," I go, "What's the problem?" He goes, "What's the problem? This place fucking sucks." And I'm like, okay. And then a woman walks up to him, and they clearly made friends on the trip. And she's like, "Going back to New York?" She's like, "You're so lucky. I wish I was going with you." Like, this place sucks.
Someone comes up to him like, "Can you keep it down, sir?" He's like, "My mother just died."
No, but security did actually take him away.
Get out.
Yeah, they took him away, and it was like the thing where he's being dragged screaming, and they took him to another room to calm him down.
This is how your trip starts.
That's how it starts. And
Is
so,
Alex in the influencer outfit yet?
No. And because I don't want to get our spot out of line. I'm like, fuck the outfit. This, like, and the day, like, the moment is past. Like, I'm not like super like, we've landed. Let's execute the plan. Let's trick them. Let's get the voucher. And by the way, they charge for Wi-Fi there. And I'm like, let's make sure we get free Wi-Fi. Let's make sure, because we're here to work on our phones. We're not going to pay the $200 it's going to cost us. Let's make sure we get the nice room that looks very picturesque. Okay? And I'm like, I can't be your manager in this situation. You're going to have to take the lead, because we both look like schlubs, but you look like the influencer, and I got to look after Lucy, who's overheating. So Lucy is super freaking out, and I don't know what to do. So I'm just dumping like glasses of water. They had little like water receptacles, and I'm dumping it over the head. People are like looking at me.
You read that parenting tactic in a book.
Well,
right?
she's overheating. I don't know what to do. I'm panicking, but I do want Lucy to look cute also for the thing. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna like keep her in this nice outfit, because I did put her in like a cute little dress. But she's really going nuts. She's getting blotchy. Then I Hulk Hogan the outfit off her, because she's so sweaty. You can't even like, some baby outfits are hard. So I actually have to rip open the outfit and then take her to the washroom and give her like a little bath in the sink while we're waiting. And I do this for like half an hour to keep her cool. I'm like, okay, Alex should have this sussed out. I come back. She's arguing with the hotel staff over Wi-Fi.
Okay.
And I'm like, got the baby who's just in a diaper right now with my kid like has like 5 hairs on her head, like they're all frayed. She's got a big like pot belly. Like she looks good when she's in her dress and like calm mode, but my baby looks like a garbage person at this person right now. And I'm like, what are you guys talking about? Wi-Fi? I'm like, who cares? Wi-Fi doesn't matter at this point. We need to get a room. My baby's a Canada baby, and she's overheating.
Did he call it a Canada baby?
Yeah. I'm like, and Alex was saying that too. It's like, she's from Canada, she's overheating, all blotchy. Alex is all blotchy. I'm like, just get us a room. Get us a manager. And then they don't do anything. I walk over to another guy, go, my baby is freaking out, overheating. I need to get to a room. I'm like, I don't care about anything. Just get us a room. It's an emergency. And he looks at me, he goes, relax, man. Like honestly. And I'm just like fuming. I'm like, I need the manager. And because he's dealing with other guests, I'm like, and then he goes, gets the manager. Another 10 minutes goes by. Manager comes. I'm showing the manager all the emails. I'm like, look, we're influencers, voucher. we need good room. We need VIP, wristbands, the works. Like, best room you got. She's like, oh, she actually gets a little freaked out. And she's like in charge of marketing too. So she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Let me take you away. And she's like, Dr. J is going to take you to your room. And it's this guy's Jamaican guy's name. He's a bellhop. Anyway, takes us to our room. We get there. We get our wristbands on. Then we get a call. It's like, just to let you know, the free Wi-Fi. You're getting the premium Wi-Fi. It's the best. The regular Wi-Fi just works in the lobby. You're getting the premium. We're coming up with special wristbands. Gives you VIP access. Gives you, the works. Gives you access to every fancy restaurant. No reservations. You just walk in. I'm like, finally, yeah, some respect or whatever. But now I'm just worried. Like, they come up, they do all that shit. I'm just worried about the $500 voucher. And it's kind of looming over our heads.
Because it's not been addressed yet.
The 500. No, all we have is the little perks, the Wi-Fi, which still work like shit, by the way.
Yeah, of course.
Premium was a stretch.
Yeah, and by the way, they didn't clean our room once.
While
no
you were
house
there, yeah.
service. And this is even once I called to ask them to come up. They just go, yeah, man, hang up. They don't come. I asked for ice. Right away, sir. Sorry for the inconvenience. No, ice doesn't come. So I'm like, fuck this place. I hate Jamaica. And then when the kid goes to bed at 7.
Yeah.
So every night we just have to be on this such a humid balcony drinking warm Red Stripes.
Oh, because you're out of the room while she sleeps, so you can't be in the
Yeah,
air
we can't be in there.
Right.
We're in the room. Luckily, the room was air conditioned, but you're in like baby jail. And the whole time we're there, all the main focus of conversation is just like, we're getting this voucher. It's like, we're getting this voucher. I'm just explaining Alex. I'm like, here's why you prep. I'm like, here's what you know how I am with the movie theater.
So you're lecturing her.
Yeah. Oh, just speeches the entire time. She's like, I'm gonna get it. So then she goes down to talk to the manager. They're like, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Talk to him. They keep pushing it off. And they know, like, we're, like, annoying people to deal with because of, like, how I introduced myself and everything was under extreme duress. So they just keep pushing it. Anyway, it's the night before our flight back home. And I'm just like, so we're getting that voucher, right, Alex? She's like, yes. They told me I'm going to speak to the manager. I'm like, okay. So that night, maybe some weed smoke was floating up to the balcony. And I don't know, like I wouldn't buy weed in Jamaica, obviously, but I was drunk. I was
hovering over the balcony trying to ingest it.
Yeah, but I was drunk and kind of now I'm actually like at that point where it's comical what's going on. Like this has gotten so comically bad, I'm laughing at it.
You're delirious,
and I'm just like, this is hilarious. This is so funny because like I didn't even want to go to this resort again. I only went because of this voucher. I'm like, we're getting it, and I'm like making fun of Alex like it's a scam because sometimes I will, like if a telemarketer calls me or some scam like Nigerian prince type scam, yeah. I will actually talk to those people on the phone for the majority of my bus ride just to kind of fuck with them and have fun and just see the angle.
Yeah.
So I start doing my imitation of those scams. I'm like, hello, Mrs. Alexandra. We are going to give you super special deal, $300 because you've been such a nice person. But let me talk to my manager. If you stay on the line, I will give you $200 extra, but don't tell anyone else, okay? And that's what they do. They always just keep stringing you along and being like, and then we are going to give you 4 nights in our beautiful luxury suite. And trust me, how sweet will it be? Very good. Haha. I'm kidding, Miss Alexandra. Now, could you please send me your husband's social insurance number? Like, that's how it is. But I'm telling Alex this, and I'm like howling at myself, like how like funny I'm being. And she's like going white. She's just not reacting. And she goes, oh my God. I go, what? She goes, that's how they were talking to me. I go in the email talk. I'm like, you were talking to the head of Spain. She goes, I was, but they were acting like they didn't know anything about the voucher. I'm like, wait. Is that why you asked for me to send you the front and back of my credit card and take a picture of my passport? Like, I thought it was for the plane. She's like, yeah, it was. They said they needed to. They needed your passport and they needed your front and back of your credit card. No. And then they said they're going to charge us $5 to see if the credit card works, and then they can access the $500 voucher. I'm like, you're fucking kidding me. I'm like, you're kidding me.
Oh my God.
I'm like, show me the email. Obviously, our premium Wi-Fi doesn't work, so so we got to go down to the lobby and check this email. I look at it. And I'm like, oh my God, it's like grammatical errors, left, right, center. The email is grandbahia1234@gmail.com.
Oh, no.
I'm like, a Gmail account is always going to be fraud. I'm like, it's always going to be at Graham Bahia. It's not going to be Graham Bahia at Gmail. She's like, I thought only Hotmail was fraud. I'm like, any free email provider is susceptible to fraud. She's like, I thought because it was tropical, they just used it or whatever. I'm like, okay, is the Instagram account legit that you were contacting? She goes, I don't know anything anymore. We checked the Instagram account. They have 17 posts, 110 followers. And I'm like,
no blue check mark.
No blue check mark. I'm like, oh my God, this is bullshit. We've been totally duped. We're fucked. So I call my credit card agency, and then I tell them the whole ridiculous story, and then they cancel the credit card.
Good.
Instantly, we get blocked from Grand Bahia's Instagram account to kind of like as if we didn't know it was a fraud. So I guess they were about to use our credit card. So Grand Bahia blocked it.
Wow.
Like the hotel.
Like the fake Instagram account.
That was representing the hotel.
Yeah, it's like Grand _ Bahia _
So they blocked you guys. Probably because they tried to use the card and then it came back to
but luckily I canceled.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So, and then the next day we still tried to talk to the manager. And now it's like we're trying to scam the hotel now. Now we're trying to just get the $500 voucher.
You're in cahoots with this Instagram account now.
Well, we're showing them the emails. We're like, we need this voucher. And the real Spain person said there's an influencer discount, which we had assumed in all these layers of confusion that the influencer discount was the $500.
Yeah.
Now I'll take anything, literally, if they give us $100 off, I would feel like that was a huge win after getting scammed.
Man. Holy shit. So how did it resolve? Did you get anything back?
No, we just ended up going to the airport, and there was this little Jamaican hat with the fake dreads, and we put it on Lucy and took a picture.
That was hilarious, by the way. That was so funny.
Mike on Much can be found on Twitter and Instagram at Mike on Much. You can subscribe to the show on any platform that has podcasts. Spotify, do it.